Group A is behind us in round 2. Now we move on to Group B, and again, just like at the start of Group A, I clicked on the wrong button. Yay for Auka being great. Group B, and we're going to Main Street Coliseum. The Coliseum where we started the tournament in Group A with Green vs Auka's GF back in round 1. We're back at Main Street Coliseum, where in Group B we will see the two winners from the first round face each other. Rens had a win, a 1-0 win over Van Grants in round 1. And I actually spoke to him yesterday and a couple days ago. Actually, yeah, yesterday about his win. And even though his first 3 Pokemon aren't necessarily the strongest, he's like, those are actually the MVPs. Zigzagoon going down quickly just set Ho-Oh up for greatness. He has faith in those first 3 Pokemon. Kimono beat me 2-0. I remember that match. It was a Sunset Coliseum. And they're going to face each other. Both have won already. Whoever wins this one has a very high chance of making it through to the next round. Only when 2 others end up at 2 wins. Maybe they won't, and then they still have to be 3rd in tiebreakers. Winning here makes it almost certain to make it through to the elimination stage, single elimination. Rens versus Kimono. The 2 teams who played in the exhibition match will face each other. If you mean your group, GameScorp Claudia, then yes. Wait, both of you won your exhibition match, didn't you? And then you lost, unfortunately, in round 1 of the tournament. Rens with the Master Ball Pokemon, Kimono with Net Ball. Let's go! Pikachu and Zigzagoon, Vaporeon and Jolteon. And these little Pokemon with not that great base stats, Rens aside, do well. Jolteon is the evolution that specializes in speed, so it goes first. Magnet Rise immediately, making sure ground moves won't work on it, so Jolteon basically has no weakness right now. And it's Pikachu. Leech Life. It's just a Gen 4 Leech Life, not that much damage, but it's a little bit. It's already better than Splash. Vaporeon is the 3rd one to move. Vaporeon pulls off a Razor Leaf. Critical hit on both of them! Alright, it does have increased critical hit ratio, but still. That's something. Then Zigzag. Present. Is it the healing one? Is it the damaging one? It is the damaging one. Not sure which power. But there's some damage on Vaporeon at least. But that Razor Leaf was pretty big. So what's going to happen here? Another Razor Leaf? Yeah, 40, 80, or 120 base power. I can't really tell here because Vaporeon has a lot of HP. And Zigzagoon's attacking stats aren't the greatest. So I find it hard to tell what the base power was. Double hit, Pikachu does survive. And static does work on Jolteon in this generation. Later, I think Gen 6 or Gen 7 onwards, Electrics can't be paralyzed. They can here. So Jolteon, being at 25% of its speed now, what it most specializes in, also 25% chance to not be able to attack every turn. But as we learned from round 1, actually from Rens' team, being paralyzed can be good. Because Rens actually, I think, had his 3rd survive because it gets fully paralyzed. Because otherwise it would have taken itself out with struggle. Rens' Pokemon both targeting... Well, not, I want to say both targeting Jolteon, but Pikachu actually targeting Vaporeon. But Pikachu's static paralyzed Jolteon, and then Zigzagoon confused the Jolteon with a 55% accurate move, so that's... well, it hit. So that Jolteon doesn't have that high of a chance to warp Pikachu with Judgment, but it missed. Was there an accuracy increase or drop somewhere that I didn't see? I didn't see what Vaporeon did, so maybe they used like Double Team? Either way, this time they used Luster Purge. Pikachu's out. Kimono's Jolteon is now inflicted indeed with Parafusion. And I believe in this generation it's a 50% chance to get hit. So 25% chance to fail. And then it does attack itself. Now let's see what, so 75% chance to work out of that. So there's a 37.5% chance. So that's a chance of 3 in 8 that Jolteon will be able to use Metronome, which is actually more than I thought. It's a 75% chance that they'll get through the paralysis, but then it's still 50-50 to get through the confusion. Also, Rain has been set up. Let's see how bad that'll be for Cyndaquil. Will there actually be a wider move coming for it? I think for now, Rens will just be hoping for Jolteon to hit itself and for Vaporeon not to do something too bad. Here's Twister. Nothing too powerful, but it can't flinch the Pokemon, and with the not that great defenses on Cyndaquil and Zigzagoon, still decent damage. Here comes Cyndaquil. Even if Jolteon's paralyzed, it goes before Jolteon. That's an interesting charge, increasing its special defense. And would it use an electric move next turn? That's double power. Zigzagoon survives longer than last time. I think Gunk Shot. We've seen Gunk Shot quite a few times in round 1. This is the first time in round 2. Jolteon hits itself again. The Rens will be happy with that. Ring out from Cyndaquil, but it missed again. Which of the opponent's Pokemon did Double Team? Because another move that shouldn't have missed last time missed as well. Eruption! Vaporeon's at high HP, so that's high power. It is halved in power by Rain, though, so that makes Zigzagoon survive it. It's not looking too great for Rens' team at the moment. Here comes Hidden Power, that's Dark type. Critical hit on the Jolteon for some decent damage. Remember, all of the Pokemon have a neutral nature, no effort values, and perfect IV, so 31 IVs in every stat. And those 31 IVs in every stat means that all Pokemon's hidden powers, when that gets called by Metronome, will all be 70 base power and Dark type. The electromagnetism on Jolteon has run out, so if there is a ground move such as Magnitude or Earthquake or Mud Slap that goes for Jolteon, it will actually get hit. And now it's Cyndaquil that uses Magnet Rise. So if there's a ground move on Cyndaquil, Cyndaquil will not be hit by it. Vaporeon using some more water, making sure fire moves are weakened. Not sure if actually that counts for the entire field or just the opponent. Zigzagoon does connect with Judgment where Pikachu didn't. Stat move Judgment, some damage, some more damage on the Vaporeon, but still, Vaporeon with a lot of HP. And Zigzagoon's not that with great power. It's just a bit of damage. It isn't much. Here comes Gastro as it's suppressing the ability of Zigzagoon. Doesn't Zigzagoon just have run away and pick up anyway? Or just pick up, so it might not be that useful anyway. Jolteon was able to get through the paralysis. It's now a 75% chance that it attacks. Much higher than before. Here comes Pin Missile, a move that Zigzagoon can actually naturally learn. But this time it gets taken out by it. 6-4 lead for Kimono. Rens said from after round 1 that Zigzagoon's KO paved the way for his victory. This gave all the other Pokemon the want to KO the others. And I think it was last in round 1 as well. I don't remember for certain that when Zigzagoon got KO'd, Ho-Oh would come out, and that will happen here as well. And Cyndaquil survived, so yeah, it will be Ho-Oh taking Zigzagoon's place. Ho-Oh is Rens' strongest Pokemon in terms of base stat total. What can I do? If Ho-Oh comes out with like Arrow Blast and then Sacred Fire and then Thunderbolt, hopefully not on Jolteon actually because it has Volt Absorb I think. Then what Ren said is absolutely right. Zigzagoon paves the way for Ho-Oh to just completely obliterate things. Skill swap. That's actually good. It's not amazing, but pressure doesn't do anything. And Ho-Oh now gets Volt Absorb, I think. A trump card. I've never actually seen that animation in this game. So now if an electric move is used on Ho-Oh, it'll heal. Not a nice move though. Do you know that in Generation 1, a fire flying type such as Ho-Oh, but then like Moltres or Charizard, if it was hit by an ice type, it was super effective, because fire didn't actually resist ice. That was one of the 4 changes in type matchups between Generation 1 and 2. Ice, fire didn't resist ice, and in Gen 2 it did. Bug and Poison were actually super effective against each other. Now Poison resists Bug, and Bug is normally affected by Poison. And then the other one was Ghost was Psychic was fully immune to Ghost, and now Psychic is weak to Ghost. Here comes Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh, when I said you were gonna obliterate things, you shouldn't be using Splash. When I tell Rens this, is gonna be disappointed in you. Wait, was it just Aurora Beam from the same Pokemon on Ho-Oh twice? Or was that Jolteon last time they used Aurora Beam? But still, Aurora Beam, twice in a row, on the same Pokemon. Huh. Double team, there we go. I want to say Vaporeon used double team before? Like on turn 2, and I missed it. That's why Pikachu's Judgment missed. No, Jolteon definitely has it. Here we go. Here comes Shadow Ball on Jolteon. Not quite enough. Special defense does fall, so even a little bit of damage will probably be enough. Let's see if Cyndaquil can do it. Leaf Storm, yeah, that'll KO. Critical hit, that wasn't needed. But at least there is a KO EV, the Evolution team from Kimono. Lost one of their Pokemon, but there's still 5 to go. Including for Popo. Ooh, started absorbing the lights. That's a solar beam coming in. But that's either resisted by Cyndaquil or 4 times resisted by Ho-Oh. Time for the 3rd Gen 1 evolution. Boosty the Flareon. Ho-Oh, what will you call? Comet Punch. Yeah, that misses. That can miss. With Rain gone, it's a 1-turn charge. That is correct. Earthquake. Doesn't affect Ho-Oh because it's flying. So that's normal effective on Vaporeon. And wow. With the super effective, that's almost half HP on Flareon. I'm not sure where Flareon's stats are. I know Flareon's specialized in physical attack. Yeah, it is physical attack. And I think special attack is one of the other ones that is at least pretty good. So either the 110 or 95 base stat. So defense and HP maybe are really low on Boosty. That was good damage from Earthquake from Cyndaquil. Nice job. Cyndaquil still in the fight, even though it's been there since the beginning. But was it? No, Cyndaquil wasn't there from the beginning. It was Pikachu that was in that slot. Cyndaquil came in there once Pikachu was KO'd. Pikachu and Zigzagoon started. Egg Bomb from Boosty. Boosty good at physical attacks. Do some big damage to Ho-Oh. Cyndaquil. Alright, some more water sport. It was used earlier, now it is used again. Baton pass. I'm just sending out the next one in the order, and Vaporeon then goes to the end of the line. So here comes Unity. And if Vaporeon does have that evasiveness boost from something like Double Team that I think it does, that's now also on Umbreon. Let's see what Umbreon can do. Ho-Oh is already at 66 health, so almost a third of what it started with. And Rens probably needs Ho-Oh to do really well, because it is the highest base stat Pokemon that he has. But it's using too many status moves, Skill Swap, Splash, Sand Attack, like, except for Splash that can be useful. It doesn't work. Ho-Oh wants to be hit by electric moves now, because it has Jolteon's ability. Here comes Agility on Umbreon. It just got Baton Passed into. Maybe this one's going to get Baton Pass again and send something else in. Explosion from something with really high attack. That's... yeah, that even takes out the defensive Umbreon. That's a full field wipe. So the Baton Pass boosts are all gone. Would have been something if that Umbreon dodged it. Assuming it does have that evasion boost. Huh. Critical murder on the Cynical. That was not necessary, Flareon. That would have killed it if it was at full HP times 2. It was in the red and you crit killed it with something that powerful. It is 3-2. So advantage is still on the side of Kimono, although Kimono does have a weakened Vaporeon, which will come out last. You have to remember Vapopo, even though it's now listed as the 4th Pokemon, that's only because it took Unity's spot. Vapopo is last in the list. There's no Pokemon that summons Sand or Hail by ability on that team. So Vapopo takes the last spot. Alright, we have Ferret and Absol that have to do it for Rens. But how well can they do against Leafeon and Glaceon, the two Generation 4 evolutions on the side of Kimono. Kimono wasn't really able to make use of their Umbreon at all, just being able to... they just used one agility and then it got exploded into. Eternal Snowflake versus Ferret and Absol, indeed. Leafeon the fastest out of the 4. Starting with Smokescreen, lowering the accuracy of Absol, and considering it's certain there won't be a switch, because there's no other Pokemon, even a U-turn or like Whirlwind won't be able to do that. Only something like Haze will get rid of it. Fake Tears might be useful as long as special attacks are actually used on Leafeon. Leafeon specializes in physical defense, so you'd want to use special attacks on it anyway, and this would make that even more useful. This won't do that much damage. Might be a tiny bit more than I expected, but it wouldn't have been much different. It's Glaceon. Scary face. Better team would be Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Entei, Suicune, Raikou. The types would match. But the person who created this battle pass decided I want an evolution team. And they did. They just had to make the decision which evolution do I not use on the team, and they went with Espeon, one of the 2 evolutions that specialize in special attack. Grass Whistle puts Absol asleep. 55% accurate that move, Grass Whistle, but it worked. Looking even better now for Kimono. Does resist the Psycho Cut, so let's see what Fur can do. Espeon isn't here because only 6 Pokemon can be on the team, and in this generation there's 7 evolutions. Eevee was decided not to be used. They may have just looked at the evolutions. I personally think that part of the reason why Espeon wasn't chosen was that Espeon and Glaceon both specialize in special attack, and that's why they wanted to choose between those 2. But that's just theory. A game theory. Leafeon with Leech Life. Leech Life in this generation not that strong of a move, but it's super effective, so it'll deal decent damage. And Leafeon does get some health back, which is appreciated. Every bit of damage counts, except when you explode. Then it might not. Thunder Shock. The Pokemon that can't even heal itself with rest or recover because it's sleeping. Just being ganged upon. Not looking good for them. Fur going for Poison Sting. If that poisons, that's a great move. That might just help him really well. And it does! So optimally for Rens, Absol wakes up, obviously. And then Absol and Fur both target Leafeon with special attacks. Because not only does Leafeon have lower base special attack, Fake Tears already lowered their special defense by 2 stages, so basically halving it. So that would be awesome for them. And then only the weaker Vaporeon would be remaining. There's Poison Gas. They get the poison right back on Furret. So Furret's on the timer now too. Absol does wake up. If this is like a flamethrower on the Leafeon. No, it's Extreme Speed on Glaceon. Just wanted to take that Glaceon out quicker. That might be a strategy too, because Leafeon is... if you hit them both just a little bit, meanwhile Absol goes back to sleep. If you both hit them a little bit, Glaceon is the one that'll go down quicker. And Vaporeon is already weakened, so maybe they're just going with the idea of hit Glaceon, then hit Vaporeon to make it a 2v1 scenario to have a higher chance. Fur is at full health. Fur does have 160 base, 160 HP, so it'll take 20 damage of poison each turn, that being 1/8 of its full health. If it only gets hit by poison, it will faint after the 8th turn because it has an HP set that's divisible by 4. Leafeon moves first. Memento! That's very good. The attack and special attack on Fur harshly fall. But Leafeon, the most healthy out of the final 3 evolutions, is down. Yeah. Crush Grip. Critical hit as well. And remember, the poison still applies 20 damage each turn. Let's see what Fur can do. If it has rest, that'd be great. Or it just attacks the Glaceon really hard to make it be taken out. No, that's not much because the lower attack can need some crits. What would Furret want? Furret would either want rest to make sure that 1 heals up and 2 gets rid of the poison, or it just wants to get rid of either Snow Point or Vapopo. Both sides still have a chance. In terms of HP, they're about equal in percentages. 2 Pokemon are poisoned. Furret goes down in 2 poisons, 2 turns of poison. Snow Point doesn't. It's divisible by 4, but that's 35 as a quarter. So that's 17 damage. Yeah, it would just be 3 poisons. Because after 2 more turns of poison, Glaceon would have 4 HP. So a 4 HP damaging move on Snowpoint would mean it goes down to poison in 2 turns. If you hit it down to at least 17 HP, or 17 HP or lower, it will go down to 1 more turn of poison. It would be 3 poison ticks right now. This one's close. If Absol wakes up, it could do something amazing because it is, in terms of percentages, the most healthy Pokemon on the field, although Vapopo does have more health because its base HP is higher. But this, thanks to that Memento, is really close. Furret does have much lower attack and defense, that's both halved. So maybe he just wants to see rest. But any little hits on Snow Points can be big, so maybe Absol and Furret want to target the Snow Point to make it a 2v1 scenario. But at the same time, they might want to hit Vapopo because Snow Point will go down eventually anyway, but after Furret. Absol stays asleep. If Vaporeon just hits Absol really hard, that might just be it. But I use a Stun Spore on the already sleeping Pokemon? It failed, it didn't work, it didn't miss, so maybe they did target Absol. Glaceon with Sandstorm, that's going to add damage. But that's 1/16 of their health, and not 1/8 of their health. So Furret will survive this. That'll probably be the 4 HP damage, but the Sandstorm would have done the same. So Ferret and Glaceon both have one more turn to live. And then it's Vipopo versus Absol. Because poison damage is still going to happen. Snow Point super low. Ferret super low. 5-6 HP. Absol, Vipopo about the same percentages. This is the final turn. Unless something like recover or rest happens. The final turn that Ferret and Glaceon are on the field. And then it's sleeping Absol versus Vipopo. Remember that Absol does have one stage lower accuracy. Because Smokescreen was used on it quite a long time ago. No double teams on the field to my knowledge. Yeah, if Absol hits Vipopo, they can be big. Although Absol, I think, moves first. So Absol hitting Snow Point could be big too. Because then Snow Point can't hit either Ferret or Absol. Or get rest. Although they'll probably want to hit Vaporeon, I think. Metronome from Absol. Fire Spin. Is it a Vaporeon? A little bit of damage, but it'll be residual damage every turn. Another 1/16 of the health. So Fire Spin for 1/16 of the health. And Sandstorms. That's 1/8 of Vaporeon's health going away after every turn. Vapopo using Dizzy Punch, but it's on Ferret, who was going to go down at the end of this turn anyway. And we don't know what Ferret would have done. Ferret might have dealt some more damage on Vaporeon, but that's the only real thing it might have otherwise done. Glaceon does get a turn. Rens just wants this Pokemon to not do anything major. Nightmare doesn't work because he's not asleep anymore. He woke up twice. Sandstorm, bit of damage on Absol. Snow Point goes down. This one's close. This is a good finish. Is Rens going to win 2 in a row? Popo takes Sandstorm damage, but also takes Fire Spin damage. This is possible for highlight reel. Yeah, I'll probably cut to parts of it instead of showing the full final 2 turns. It's not. I won't say that this. I don't feel this is like stream highlight worthy, like the end of the match 2 and round 1 with Akko and Random. But this is probably something we should remember for a highlight reel. Would I do it? Ooh, we have Akko thinking Vaporeon's gonna win it. Vaporeon is at lower health, lower percentage of health, and next to Sandstorm, it also gets hit by Fire Spin. So that's more damage in between turns. And Absol moves first. Absol, due to that, has the higher chance. This turn probably decides it, although it could just totally not if they both use Splash. Absol, Thrash, that would have been it, but it misses because of the smoke screen from so many turns ago. Can Vaporeon seal the deal? Psycho Boost, does it affect Dorks? They both get another turn. I think Thrash is still 90 power in this gen. But yeah, that if Thrash wouldn't have finished Vaporeon off on the attack, Sandstorm Fire Spin would have done it. And because it missed on turn 1, it doesn't get confused. It doesn't say stuck in Thrash, I think. Wait, Vaporeon, what? How much damage does Vaporeon take? 204. So one. Let's calculate. From 200, that's from 204. Half is 102. So a quarter is 51. So 1/8 rounded down is 25. So if 51, there's still 25 and a half. So 1/16 is 12 3/4. So 12 per thing. So Vaporeon, if Absol doesn't deal damage to Vaporeon, and I'm correct about both Sandstorm and Fire Spin dealing a 1/16 of health to Vaporeon, Vaporeon will be up with 4 HP at the end of the turn. So Absol needs to deal 4 damage. And then survive Vaporeon's attack to win. Unless Vaporeon heals. Is this turn going to decide it? Does the tiniest bit of damage can be the difference? Absol uses Roar of Time! Such a huge move, it misses again. Vaporeon! Mega Kick! Critical hit! No! I'm not sure if that would have KO'd without the crit. Ah! I was rooting for Absol there. I was rooting for Absol, I'll admit. My brother will be happy to learn that he lost it. That was so close. And remember, I did say at the start, because they both won in round 1, Kimono and Rens, the winner of this is very likely to move on to the next round. Rens might still, because he already has one match win. But he was super close to another one, where Ho-Oh wasn't all that useful. Like, it took a good amount of hits, but he used Sand Attack, Skill Swap, Splash. Shadow Ball was the only really useful move he used. But his Pokemon did good damage. Cynical with a good super effective Earthquake on Flareon. Leafeon with Memento did help, I'll admit. But, yeah. Highlight real worthy. Oh, yeah, that is true. 1-0 Kimono. And even though so much happened, it was still under half an hour that much. Huh. Yeah, it missed twice. If Absol would have hit either Thrash or Roar of Time, it would have won. Now, Roar of Time has a 90% accuracy. That could have missed just because of Roar of Time. Thrash missed because of the smoke screen. So I don't remember which Pokemon used smoke screen like 10 turns before that or something like that. But that turns out to have been the win. Or what wasn't the loss for Kimono. Wow. I'm gonna check some statistics. Oh, statistics of things. Fire Spin. Damages the target at the end of the turn, but by how much? 1/16 the health, yes. Generation 6 onward, it's actually 1/8. But this is Gen 4. Sandstorm weather condition. 1/16 of the health, yeah. In Gen 2 it was 1/8. But it's 1/16. Thrash was 90 power up to and including Generation 4. But I expect with Absol's good attack stat that would have been enough. This Absol has a base attack stat of 130. So even if that wasn't enough, Fire Spin Sandstorm would have done it, because we know that it survived Vaporeon's attack after that. Huh. That was something. Alright, Kimono takes the win 1-0. Putting Kimono at the top of that group after this round, because no matter what happens in the next match, Kimono will be at the top and the loser of the next match will be at the bottom. Roar Timing is signature move 2. Used by a few Pokemon in this tournament. You know the Pokemon to talk about. Yeah. We've seen some other signature moves as well from legendaries. I think we've seen Spatial Rend. Not sure we've seen Magma Storm. We've seen Lunar Dance. We've seen Heart Swap. We've seen Judgment twice on the Rens team, quite quickly in succession by Pikachu and Zigzagoon. I don't think we've seen Sacred Fire or Aeroblast. Psycho Boost, we've seen Psycho Boost. Quite a few of the legendary signatures. Shadow Force, yep, absolutely Shadow Force was seen. Not sure if we've seen Seed Flare. I think something in round 1 did try Seed Flare at some point.